Welcome. We are now at the fourth part of SpecPoVerse inaugural issue poetry readings. I'm your host, Miguel Mitchell, editor-in-chief and co-founder of SpecPoVerse, International Journal of Speculative Poetry. SpecPoVerse has been a labor of love for me, bringing together the international voices of poets writing verse within the speculative poetry realm. But what is speculative poetry? Here is a comprehensive definition of speculative poetry created by award-winning poet Akua Leslie Hope. Speculative poetry is the primordial verse, the first verse, the poetry of possibilities. Our earliest recorded literature is speculative poetry: Gilgamesh, Ramayana, the Iliad and Odyssey, and Beowulf, for example. Speculative poetry's engagements include aliens, alternate history, cryptids, cyberpunk, cyberpunk, dystopia, fairy tales, fabulism, fantasy, folklore, futurism, horror, magic, monsters, mythology, occult, paranormal, post-apocalyptic, robots, science fiction, shifters, slipstream, solar punk, space opera, steampunk, steampunk, superheroes, supernatural, sword and sorcery, sword and soul, time travel, and weird. All poetic forms and sci-fi coup are welcome. And this evening we have our final wonderful poet, and this is Colleen Anderson. Colleen is a multiple nominated and award-winning author who has widely published in seven countries. Wow. Such as in Weird Tales, Cemetery Dance, and the award-winning Shadow Atlas. Her Riesling-winning poem, Machine Revolution, is in Tenebris Press's Brave New Weird, and she has won SFPA's Dwarf Poetry Contest for 2 years. Colleen lives in Vancouver, British Columbia, and her poetry collections, The Lore of Inscrutable Dreams, I Dreamed a World, and Weird Worlds, plus fiction collections, A Body of Work, and Embers Amongst the Fallen, are available online. Her fourth poetry book, Vellum Leaves and Lettered Skins, is coming in late 2025. Colleen.
Thank you. Alchemical Stage 2, Dissolution. My life in ashes, immolated by my id, wading through the guilt. Phoenix fire sears science, hides wild passion rises. Alchemical Stage 2, Dissolution. My life in ashes, immolated by my id, wading through the guilt. Phoenix fire sears science, hides wild passion rises.
Some questions for you, as well as I wanted to give a shout out. I had the pleasure of reading this poem to participants in the speculative poetry workshop because I felt that it represented the best of the Tonka form. Would you explain what a Tonka is to the audience and how this poem fits the elements of the form?
Tonka is sort of like an extended haiku, whereas a haiku has 3 lines, traditionally of 5, 7, and 5 syllables. The Tonka has 5, 7, 5, and then two more lines that are 7 syllables each. Also, the Tonka tends to stay within kind of one moment and encapsulates that, so it wouldn't be a story about a span of time or over several years. And yes, I've been working with it a fair amount lately.
Very good. So which poets or authors have influenced you the most?
Uh,
It's a big question.
It is a big question. I read a lot of poetry, and so I'm always, whether we realize it consciously or not, we're sometimes absorbing elements that we've seen before. One of my favorite poems is Dylan Thomas's "Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night," but also modern poets. Well, Linda Addison, for one, and Sarah Tantlinger, Cynthia Pelayo. There are many. I read probably 100 different poets in a year when I'm reading for various awards. So a lot of them I can't even name right now because whenever I'm put on the spot, my mind goes blank.
Oh, that's okay.
But there are a lot that I just read a lot of. Yeah.
Hmm. So what was the inspiration for you writing this particular one? I see the Jacqueline, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde theme, but you rendered it in a rather in a different way than I've seen before. And I was wondering if you could get into that a bit.
So in alchemy that the ancients studied, I did some research. There's seven alchemical stages, or there's like 101 alchemical stages, but I researched the seven stages and I've actually written seven tankas. So one of my Dwarf Stars winning poems that was 2 years ago. And of course, now I can't remember the title of it. That was the first one. And so each poem I've done as a tanka in the series goes through alchemical stage. So there's um, dissolution, separation, conjunction, putrefaction, distillation, and coagulation. So as I started to write them, and the first one, the final line in the first one that was in the dwarf poetry contest, the final line is the morphology of a ghost. So I've done one on a werewolf, I've done one on a vampire, and like a golem as well. So each one of these, I've taken kind of one of these mythical beings and written a tanka as part of the alchemical stage.
That's great.
I don't know if I'm going to tackle the 101 stages, but yeah,
Well,
I have seven stages.
it sounds like it might be an exciting it'll sound like an adventure actually to be able to try that.
Yeah, yeah, because I was thinking it would make kind of an interesting chapbook
Yeah,
to write on all the various stages.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of the inaugural issue. I really appreciate it. It's been an amazing experience for me and having everybody gather together. Um, so yeah, my humblest appreciations.
Well, and thank you so much for putting this together. I think this is a great project you've done. It looks very professional. It's beautiful. So I'm very pleased and honored to be part of the inaugural issue.
Thank you so much. And thank you, audience, for attending. There will be a combined video which will contain all of the different poets who have been able to read their poems for the inaugural issue. And I hope everyone has a wonderful evening.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.